friends. Now we are going for the Boolean data type and the list data type. In this lecture we are covering these two data types. Now let us see we are going to start with the Boolean data type. Now in Boolean data type, the major thing about this Boolean data type is that it is generally composed of two data types. Composed of two data types, one is true and the second is false. That means just like the binary numbers 0 and 1, now here in Boolean data types the answer is always stored in either true or false. So the very first thing is this true or false is used to represent the data. That means whatever the data you have, the content of the data, if it has some meaning, then only you can say it is true, otherwise you can directly say it is false. That means if the relevancy of the data with some meaning information is there, then only you can say that data is taken as true, otherwise false. Now the next condition for the true and false is it is used for the evaluation of expressions, just like in the conditional operations, or you have seen in the logical operations that we are getting the answer true or false because we are evaluating the expressions. So here what we are doing is we are evaluating the expressions and the answer is always in terms of Boolean. It is just like we are asking a question whether it is true or false. So the computer always returns the answer in terms of true and false, and it is under the heading of Boolean data type. Now look at this example, 1 is greater than 2, 1 is equal to 2 and 1 is less than 2. In the first condition 1 is greater than 2 or not? No, 1 is not greater than 2. Similarly 1 is equal to 2? No, but the third condition is true because the 1 is yes, it is less than 2. Similarly there is this Boolean function is available to identify the content of a data regarded as true or false. This function is bool function. Now in bool you just need to put the data either in the variable form or you can directly put the data. Here this 25 represents integer, here it is representing string, again string, it is representing the number that is integer, the next one is string and the last one is it is key reserved. These are the reserved keywords, that is none. So it is not a variable, it is a reserved keywords, you can say it is a reserved keyword, this last one. Similarly the true and false are also the reserved keywords. Now you can see the output of these data as true or false. Now why the data are representing as true and false? The meaning is because here this 25 holds a number that is representing 25. The 25 is something, this something has a number 25. Similarly in the string you have some strings or you can say some characters are there. This character word is not appropriate for the Python, but still I am using for easy understanding that these characters are representing some strings and these strings are basically giving you some meaning. But look at this 0, the 0 is representing nothing, it is just like the emptiness. So it is directly related with the false data type. Similarly the last one, that is it is a reserved keyword which represents there is nothing inside the variable, which is represented by none. Its none is not any data type, it is a different object. So this different object comes from because this is a keyword which is reserved by the programmer, that is the founder of this language. This is none, none means nothing and the Boolean for the none is false. Now next is, now you are going to understand this true. Why the things are represented as true? Because the content variable, that means whatever the data they are containing, they have some information to share. Now look at the information like 250, high, no, because it is under the heading of string. Similarly the small space, this space is also taken as some character and you will we get the answer as true. But what about the other things for these empty variables? That means, when the variables are represented by the data types, but those are with empty elements. So, these all data types are representing you the answer as true data type. Even here you can see 0, none. Now, here you should be careful, this none is inside the double quotation, this double quotation represents str. That means, we are using the string data type, and this string data type is representing these characters. Due to this, it has some content, and this content is represented as true Boolean data type. Now, here you can see, now we have run this whole program, those all things are the healthy codes, and it is just as it is, that is in PPTs, and you can see the output is totally true. Next, now what is false? It is of course the inverse or the opposite of true, that is the false represents the empty variables. Whenever you have the variables, those variables represent some empty information, like in number it is 0, in double quotation there is no character, here we have no character. Now, again I am repeating that character is not a word which must be used in the Python programming, but still for the easiness of this language I am just using it, otherwise it is with 0 string. Next is, you can see it is a tuple, and in tuple you can see there is no element. Similarly, the empty list is, and the last thing is 2 keywords reserved, that is none and false. And here you can see in the output that all are representing false data type. Now, look at this one. Next one is, there is one more condition by which we can get true or false, that is when we are evaluating the expressions or functions. Now, look at this example here, this x is equal to 50, the variable which holds the int value, and we are looking whether this x variable is int or not. Now, we are checking this data type with this int, whether this x variable holds the int, and this int must be equivalent to this int data type or not. So, we are using just a function, and here you can see is instance is our function by which we are getting this, yes, this x value, that is 50, this is int. So, the int value is int, it is justified. So, the answer for this one is true. Similarly, the next one is x greater than 10, the x value is 50, again the answer is true. But what about the next one? Now, here we are performing the operation, and after that we are again checking the condition. The operation is modulus, we are checking for the remainder, the x modulus 3, that means x is 50, 50 divided by 3, that is up to the 48, it will be divided, the answer is 2. So, the 2 is equal to 0, no, it is false. Now, here you can see. So, that is it for the Boolean data type. Now, we are going to move on to the next session of the data type, that is the important data types. This is known as the collection data types of the Pythons, and in this you can see we have the 4 data types: list, tuple, set, dictionary. The list and tuples are generally the sequential data type, the set is a different data type from the list and the tuple, and the last one is the dictionary data type, which is also regarded as mapping data type. Now, these are the some characteristics written for these specific data types, but we are just interested in this one right now, that is the list data type, and here some characteristics are, it is ordered, it is changeable, the duplication of the members are or the elements are allowed. So, these 3 properties are unique for the list data types, and we are going to justify these properties in upcoming lecture. So, we are starting with the list data type. The very first thing about the list data type, it is representing the sequential data type. That means, when we are dealing with any sequence, the sequence must be represented either by the list data type or tuple. Next one is it is a collection data type, but in ordered data. That means there is an order by which we can govern this data type, but it is also holding the property that is changeable. That means it is also mutable. We can change the elements at our need. Now, the important identity for the list data type is this square bracket. Now, look at this one. We are defining a list data type, and here you can see that we are using the square bracket. This square bracket is the identity of the list data type. Along with that, you need to put the commas to separate the elements. So, we are creating my list variable, and in this you can see we have 3 elements. One is apple, banana, cherry. So, the next thing is now how this list is ordered data type. Now, how it is ordered data type? It is because of indexing principle. You can say the indexing principle is valid in this list data type, just similar to the string data type. In the string, the datas are arranged by the indexing numbers. Now, here it also follows for list data type. That means the indexing is done on the basis of the number sequence. So, here this number is representing these elements, because the very first number is represented by 0. Similarly, 1 and 2. This means that this 0 is representing this element apple, similarly 1 is representing this banana and 2 is representing this cherry. Now, we are trying to access these elements one by one using the subscription principle. The principle says that whatever variable you want to access, that variable name, here the variable is a list. So, we are putting this my list, next followed by the square bracket. Now, the first identity for the square bracket is list, the second is the subscription. Now, in this you need to mention the index number. Now, look at this one, it is similar to this one. So, this 0 and this list is almost similar. Next is we are just changing the number, that is 0, 1, 2. Similarly, in the negative indexing it is represented as -1, -2, -3. So, now you can see what is the output of this program, because here we are asking for the 0 element, that is apple. Here we are asking for banana, cherry, and the last element is, because -1 indexing starts from the last element in the list, last element is cherry. Now, here you can see the output, just we have thought the apple, banana, cherry and the cherry. This cherry is representing for -1 indexing. So, here you can see that yes, in the list the order data type is as per the indexing numbers. Now, we are trying to perform the next beautiful operation, that is slicing. Just in the string we have performed the slicing, we are again performing the slicing because the indexing principle is valid. So, this is the syntax. Here you can see we are using the variable list followed by again the square brackets followed by 3 parameters separated by colons. You know most of the thing about these parameters, we are just skipping this part and we are just going for that what is the output of these things, because we have already discussed in detail in the string data type about these 3 parameters. Now, here you can see that we are accessing from 2 to 6, that means this point is your starting point, this is your ending point. So, we are starting from 2, we will end at 6, but the output will be n minus 1, that is 2 to 5. That is, this apple is 1, banana is 1, cat 2, doll 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, here what we are saying is this is 2 from 5, that is the cat, doll, elephant and the fish will be in the outcome. Similarly, in the next one you can see that it is up to 6 because the first element is missing. Here there is no value, that means we just need to take the value 0. 0 to 6, that is representing it is 0 to 5, that is from apple to fish. Similarly, the next one is we are starting from the cat till the last, that is horse. So, it is 2 to 7. Similarly, the rest of the slicing operations you can see, but they have the step value. Here you can see that -1, 2, -1. So, the same way they can be deduced, but you just need to be focused that the index principle starts from 0. In the positive direction or in the forward direction it is positive, in the backward direction it is negative. So, you can see here the output. Similarly, for the others you can see these are the output related to our program. Now, the next thing is now we are trying to change the values because the lists are mutable. At the very first slide of the list data type you have seen the characteristics of the list, it is mutable, that is the values are changeable. So, how we are going to change the values? The principle remains the same, that first you need to access that element. We are trying to change the value of this ball, the index number is 1. So, just like how we are going to access that element, you just need to put it as it is, my list in square bracket 1, it is how we are going to access this element. Now, you need to again reassign it. In order to reassign this, you are going to use the assign operator equal to followed by the updated value. Here updated value is banana. Similarly, we are going to change the value of doll, that is 3, and similarly the last one, that is horse, 7 with the hand shot. So, here you can see 1, 3 and 7 are changed after these 3 lines. Here you can see this ball is replaced with the banana. Similarly, this doll is replaced with lights, and the last one is this horse is replaced with hands. So, this is how we change the values, this is how the lists are proven as mutable. One more thing is there, this is the looping operation. Right now we haven't covered this thing. So, we just need to look at it, that we can access the elements of the list one by one with the help of for loop. We will go for the looping operation in details in upcoming PPTs, but right now we just need to focus that yes, there is one such operation, that is known as looping operation, by which we can access the elements of a given list by one by one. So, you just need to understand this thing, and the rest is we are going to discuss in details in looping operations. You can see that we are accessing the elements one by one, that is first element was the apple, the next one are banana, the next is cat, and so on. So, one by one we are accessing the elements, but for this we need the for loop. So, for loop we will discuss this thing in details. Now, the next thing we are going to see that whatever if the values are available or not, because we are using membership operators. In the previous lecture you have seen the membership operator. So, there is this in. So, we are using this in as a membership operator in order to find out this apple under this my list. So, whether this apple is not, yes it is. So, you will get the answer yes. Right now, one more thing is there, that this statement is a conditional statement, because this is if statement. So, in the upcoming PPTs we will discuss about this conditional statement too, but for the rest being we are going to just limit ourselves. Similarly, here you can see that we are trying to find out the ant in my list. If the ant is available, then only you will get this output. That means, if this condition holds true, then only you will get. It is just like that when a student enters into a college, if he holds that I card and it is valid, the entry is allowed, that is true. Otherwise, you cannot enter into the college. The last thing is the number of elements in a given list. So, how we are going to define the number of elements in a given list? By using this len function. Here you can see this len, and we are going for mylist variable. But the good practice is that if you are going to use the print statement, that means the print statement is the outside, and inside that we are using the len function to call. Then only you will get a visible output, otherwise not. Now, look at this one. Yes, in this you can see, you can count these all elements and the value is 8. You can see the 8. Similarly, here the answer is only yes, because the apple is available, but this ant is not available. The next method is, now we are going for some methods. Now, the method means these are specially designed function for the specific data type. Now, these methods are only applicable to the list data type. That is, this is our list A, B, C, D up to H, and we are trying to add some values inside a given list. Now, changing the size of the list is also considered as mutable. So, here we are trying to add I and j with the help of a method. The method name is append. Now, the syntax for the method is very simple, that is, whatever the variable name you have, followed by the dot, followed by the method name, followed by, if you have some parameters, you are going to write those parameters. So, this is the syntax, and in this syntax you can see the variable is, we are appending my list with this I. So, we are putting this I for this list. So, the output, in the output you will see that I is also the part of this my list variable. Similarly, the j will also become the part. This is one method by which we can add, but the limitation of this method is that whatever you are trying to add, it will always be added at the last by append. You are going to add these things at the last, but I want to add the elements at a specific location by using the index number. It can be done by using this insert. This insert method asks for two parameters. The very first is the location, which is referred as an index number, followed by the whatever the value you want to put. So, here the value is k and we want to put at 1. Right now, you can see at the 1 the ball is there. So, what is happening, this k will be moved on to this b position and b will automatically shift to the next number, you can see. So, with this we will stop it here. So, what we have seen, that we have seen some methods by which we can update our list, the elements at the specific position as well as the last positions. Now, with some other methods of the list, I will come in next lecture. Till then, thank you to all.